Hello to everyone who is joining us, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter, or if you're watching the recording later on. Welcome to our live Q&A about studying nursing at Edinburgh Napier University. My name is Eleanor. I work in the marketing department, and I am joined today by some lovely people who I'm going to ask to go around and introduce themselves. So could we start with Tasha?
Thank you. So hi everyone, I'm Tasha. I'm one of the UK student recruitment officers here at Edinburgh Napier.
And Bruce?
Yeah, I'm Bruce Harper MacDonald, and I'm a lecturer within the School of Health and Social Care and also work as a nurse.
And Megan?
Yeah, I'm Megan, and I'm one of the third-year adult nursing students at Napier.
Lovely. Now I can see that there's lots of people jumping on to join us. Thank you for being here. And I think we're just going to jump straight in with our first question, but please do feel free to either drop any questions that you have into the comment section on Facebook or just send a reply on Twitter and one of our team will pick it up for us. So start off, why should people consider going into nursing? Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, I'm happy to go, and then Megan probably would want to add to that. Why would you consider going into nursing? Well, I would argue it's the best career, and I feel I'm not biased when I say that. I started off working in financial services, and I moved into nursing. It's such a rewarding job. What I'd say to you is that you've got endless opportunities. It's not that you qualify as a nurse and you work in a ward. There's a number of different opportunities. The career pathways are endless. So you can work as a nurse, you can move into advanced practice, you can move into teaching like what I've done, research. So it's a really good foundation job that gives you a guaranteed career which has endless opportunities.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. And I think as well, with nursing, you never ever stop learning. There's never a point where you think, okay, I know it all. So you're never bored, and completely agree with Bruce. It's the most rewarding job in the world.
And who do you think nursing suits? Who would you recommend it to as a career, personality-wise, values-wise?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember pretty much everybody that I've met in nursing has gone into it from a different path, which I think is really important. Like Bruce just said, he used to work in financial services. I actually studied psychology before I moved into nursing. There's people that come from different college courses, mature students, people that decide at completely different times of life that this is what's for them. So I wouldn't shy away from knowing that there's different paths that can take you there. And I think personality-wise, if you're a compassionate person that cares for others, then you could do pretty well.
And Bruce, I suppose you see, such a wide breadth of students coming in as well to do the different nursing subjects.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember, you need to have that core skills that you want to make a difference, that care, compassion, that you really want to help people. What I would say is that there's so many different personality types. It's one of the most rewarding parts of the job for me is that you work in wonderful teams of such diverse group of people. So, I'm a great advocate for more males coming into nursing, females. You've got, people come into nursing when they leave school at 17 to people that go into different careers in their 40s and 50s and come into nursing as mature students. And everybody takes such different, range of experiences, life experiences and knowledge from different backgrounds. And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. So I think whether you're sitting here thinking, I spent 20 years working for a bank and now I want to move into working as a nurse, I'd say go for it. But equally, if you're just finishing up school and you really want to do nursing, go for it.
And I can see in the comments here, we have Lauren saying that she got her offer and she's been accepted. So she'll be joining us in September. So congratulations, Lauren. That's amazing. And there are a couple of questions coming in as well about the application sort of timeline. So to anyone who doesn't know, applications are still open through UCAS Extra, and we still have places on our adult nursing, mental health nursing and learning disability nursing courses. That's just some of the specialisms that we teach here, but unfortunately child health nursing and midwifery have already met their quota for this year. But Tasha, do you maybe want to talk about what the sort of timeline is when people can start to expect to hear back about their applications and so forth?
Yep, absolutely. And I'll just give an overview of the application process. If anyone is still thinking about applying to us, then like Eleanor said, there absolutely is still time to do that for our adult nursing and learning disability and mental health nursing intake. So the application process, basically every year, if you are thinking of applying the following year, it's usually the 15th of January that the deadline is by, but we do accept late applications, which is why we can still accept applications to the courses that there are still places on. You just need to apply through UCAS. On UCAS, you need the institution code and the course code to be able to apply, and you can find that on our course page on the Edinburgh Napier website. It's really an easy application. Is just something that you definitely have to think about before you go ahead and submit. There's a few different sections. One of the most important is your personal statement. We always recommend in your personal statement just to make sure that you get across who you are as a person, why you think you're the right fit for the course. Make sure you be honest in it, because you never know if you then get asked a question further down the line. If you could kind of be caught off guard if you've not said, you know, the kind of accurate things about yourself and your qualifications. But yeah, apart from that, it's then a case of just getting a referee to give you a reference that will be a written reference for UCAS. And once you're happy with that, you can submit your application, and then it will just go to our admissions team and they'll be in touch via UCAS track. So it's really a straightforward thing. It's just something that we advise you to prepare for before going ahead and submitting. All the nursing applicants are invited for an interview before being made an offer, so it's just worth keeping that in mind as well. In terms of the timeline, our admission teams are working through everything as quickly as possible at the moment. I do know that. So I saw someone mention that they're just waiting to hear back at the moment. It is a case that we can't give an exact time, but we would hope that you would hear back really soon, because we know that they are working really, really hard to get all our applications processed. These are really popular courses, our nursing courses, because Edinburgh Napier is an amazing place to study nursing and midwifery. So they've got lots of applications coming through, but they will get back to you as quickly as possible.
Yep. And you mentioned the interview process there, which I think is something that people who get a little bit nervous about when they're, you know, applying to nursing courses. So Megan, do you have any tips for people from your own experience with the interview process?
I think coming across confident, not too confident, having said that, but true to yourself and confident to the right degree is key, and to demonstrate a knowledge of the values of being a nurse, and to really get across your desire to make a difference and to show that you're compassionate is probably the key things for me. Yeah, I think that would be my main things, and make sure that you speak and that you're willing to join in and participate in conversations and that sort of thing, because that would demonstrate your team working abilities as well.
Bruce, do you agree from the standpoint of somebody who's, you know, involved in the interview process?
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed with Megan. You know, we always have students come with us to the interview. So I agree with what Megan said. I know it's difficult as we work virtually, but what I would say to you is, you know, although it's a virtual interview, it is a group interview. So we're looking for you to encourage your colleagues to take part in the interview. So my words of wisdom is, just be careful. I have seen students that have forgotten that they've got pajamas on when they stand up, but, you know, you add in an interview. And also, you know, this is the worst thing I ever see, is when students suddenly go like this during an interview when they're not speaking and looks like they're scrolling on Tinder and Facebook. So I would avoid doing things like that. Just remember that it is a professional interview. So that's my secret tips.
And we've got a few people in the comments there saying that they have been invited to their interview. So good luck to you guys. I'm sure you will do fantastic. So just staying with you for another minute, Bruce, could we talk a little bit about like how the course structure works for the nursing courses and the sort of balance between class time and placement, so on and so forth?
So what you've got to remember when you do a nursing course is that you're getting two things for the price of one. So you're doing a university degree, so you would qualify with a nursing degree, but what you also get is a registration with the Nursing and Midwifery Council. So that's your license to work as an adult nurse within the UK, and a license that you can apply to work in other countries. So as a result, we're approved by the Nursing and Midwifery Council for the programme we deliver. And what that means is you do 50% of your time on practical placement. So that's when you're out nursing, and 50% of your time in the university learning the academic side. So you'll learn on a campus, you'll learn online the skills you need for going out onto practice placements. So that's a 50-50 approach. And when we look at placements, it's really important to remember, and that expectation is, nursing is not casualty. It is not Holby City. That is just not nursing. Even if you go to an A&E department, that is just not what nursing is. Nursing is 24/7. We nurse people as an adult nurse from 16 through the lifespan until death, and we work in a range of settings. So we work in nursing homes, care homes, community, sort of district nursing, prisons, right the way through to hospital wards. So it's just remembering that you would have a variety of different placements, and you would be expected to see that variety so you can appreciate the full spectrum of the nursing role.
And did it sort of, your placements and such meet your expectations, Megan, when you were coming into it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, personally, nobody in my family is a nurse. I'd done quite a few volunteering placements in healthcare previously, but I didn't know really what to expect apart from what you can read or listen to. And I think just the diversity of it is brilliant, especially with Napier. You work in all kinds of places and all kinds of shifts, and you really do have the opportunity to kind of work out what works for you and where you might want to be in the future. And yeah, I think it definitely lived up to expectations.
And we've had a great question come through from Laura. What have you found to be the most challenging part of your years of study?
I think nursing's not an easy job. If it was, everyone would do it. It's not designed to be, and you're looking after people that aren't well, and people don't tend to be at their best when they're not well. Luckily, the rewarding nature of the job does completely outweigh any negatives. But yeah, there are challenges. I think for me personally, I'm not been able to opt in to help during the COVID-19 pandemic, which isn't in my nature. I don't think it's in any nurse's nature not to help where they can. So for me, that's been one of the biggest challenges. But day-to-day challenges, I mean, every day's new. You'll have different decisions that you need to make every day that you've never come across before. But especially as a student, that's why you have the support network around you that you do, making good relationships with your colleagues on placement, and especially people like your mentor. And the best advice I can give you is to ask questions, because that's the best way that you're going to learn.
Great. And Chris, how have you seen the course kind of change in regards to, COVID-19 as all being in lockdown? As you said, a lot of stuff being done virtually. Just a question from Nicole there about what to expect.
Thank you. I seen Nicole's question come through, and I thought that was a really, really sensible, really good question to ask. I think there's two ways of responding to that. We're better looking forward than back, because obviously we're moving into a different situation. And certainly the communication from the university is, as soon as we can go back to sort of teaching on campus, which is very confident, we would hope would start in September. Obviously everything's subject to what's happening with COVID at the time. But I would say what's changed in comparison to the previous few years is I think that we've actually strengthened the teaching that we deliver. As a staff member, I've had to go through transformational change. What I always say is, remember, I'm a nurse to background. That's anybody that teaches you, we were all nurses. So we've had to learn things that I would never have needed to know as a nurse, how to teach online, using online tools. Like most of you sitting here today, we've had to learn how to use things like Zoom and Microsoft Teams. But I think as a result, it's enhanced the way we would be able to support and teach students in the future. So, if Megan got in touch with me to say, Bruce, can I speak to you? We'd probably speak on Teams now, so we can actually see each other rather than a phone call, which is that bit more personal. So I think moving forward, things will be better. I also think positively the public's image of nursing has really improved, and the regard that nurses are held in. So I think, when I tell people I'm a nurse, or if students are saying I'm a student nurse, the public response, is quite staggering. I remember one day nipping into the co-op whilst I was on duty, and they all started clapping for me because I'm a nurse. So I think role recognition has improved for nurses and what nurses do. Sorry, I could talk forever about that. So that hopefully answers Nicole's question.
Oh, no, but that's fantastic to hear. And we've had a couple of different questions coming through as well about the different support that's sort of in place for nursing students. So I don't know if Tasha or Bruce, you'd be best placed to talk about. So we have like the nursing bursary that's offered by the Scottish Funding Council and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can go, and if there's anything you want to add, Bruce, then yep, that's perfect. In terms of support, yet there is a variety. I'm sure Bruce will be able to touch on more the pastoral side of things. I know we have amazing support for that for our nursing students as well, but I can touch on the funding side of things as well. So yes, there is a bursary. If you are an eligible Scottish domiciled student nurse or midwife studying at Edinburgh Napier University or in Scotland, you will be able to apply for a nursing and midwifery student bursary. It's not income assessed, which means that you are eligible for the set amount that they give. At the moment, for studying 21-22 academic year, it is £10,000 a year for the bursary for your 3 years, which is the amount of time that you would be studying at Edinburgh Napier for. And that bursary, because it's a bursary, that means that you don't need to pay that back as well. So that's to support you with the fact that, like we've kind of touched upon, as a student nurse, you are going to be out on placement. So you might not necessarily work as many hours in a job as other students would. It's to support with your travel, any books that you might need. So it's just taking into account all of that, but it is an amazing thing that the nursing students get that, and that has actually been increased. Previously it was less that they got for the previous year, so that's great. And you can find out if you're eligible by going onto the SAS website for that. So I would recommend, just like Eleanor said, heading onto the SAS website and you'll find out if you are eligible. But you could also be eligible for dependence allowance. We've got the single parents allowance as well, and disabled students allowance. So there's lots of different things that you could actually be eligible for that sometimes people don't even realize that they are. So definitely head on to SAS and check out what you could be eligible for that, and that will have all that information. And then there's the pastoral support. I know we've got an amazing team at Edinburgh Napier. I don't know if there's anything I could just pass over to you, Bruce, if there's anything that you want to add for that side of things.
I think what I would say is, there is excellent support from the university. So we've got pastoral support. One of my roles, and my favourite part of my job, is I'm a personal development tutor, and I really love that, is supporting students through their journey. Just now I'm supporting a group of students that a lot of them have children, whether that be single parents or part of families. What I'd say is it's not easy to become a nurse. You will do academic work, you'll be juggling placements, you will, when you're on placements, you're expected to do a variety of shifts, and that's what the Nursing Midwifery Council require you to do. So you would be expected to do weekends, night shifts, day shifts, earlies, lates, to get that full spectrum of experience. So what I'd say is really important for you to think about is we will give you a lot of support. So there's the bursary, there's the pastoral support, but at the end of the day, it is a 24/7 profession, and you will do a variety of shifts whilst you're a student. So it's really thinking about what support networks do you have. So who can help you if you're needing to do a Sunday late shift, for example, who can look after the children, who can help you with that. So I would say to take that into account. But what I would say is, in my experience with practice and working as a nurse, practice will help you as much as they can. So they will say to you, how can we fit shifts around you? What can we do to help you? But it's just remembering that there is that 24/7 nature of nursing.
And on the financial side of it as well, I would just let people know that we have our Find a Fund service on our website. If you go into the undergraduate fees and funding page, I believe, on napier.ac.uk, you can fill out your details there, and that will help pull up all of the different funds or bursaries that you might be eligible for as well. It can save you trawling through quite a lot of different minutiae about criteria for meeting the eligibility for that kind of financial support as well. Something else when you're talking about having to do placements and shifts at all different hours. Some people, maybe particularly younger applicants, might be thinking about being in student accommodation and how that might impact, getting to know the people that they're in accommodation with. So we know that our nursing students who choose to stay in student halls are largely based at our Slateford Road accommodation. Megan, were you in accommodation?
I wasn't actually, because I started with a different degree. It was at Edinburgh University actually, so I was in different halls then. So had halls experience, but not with Napier.
Well, from the student nurses I've spoken to who did stay in Slateford Road at least for like their first year, the takeaway was very much that everyone was sort of in the same boat with it. So it was great being in like that community of like other nursing students, and it sort of formed like a little support network with the people that you were living with, which is just, such a great thing. Especially when, you are doing those like late shifts, just, living with people who get it, can have like the cup of tea ready in the morning to get in. It's just like, essential to survival.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone, all of my friends from uni that did stay all said exactly what you've just said, is that it just works. There's an understanding that you're all on different shifts, and when you do come together, it's fab. So
amazing. So just to remind everyone, you can pop your questions into the comments and you can reply on Twitter, and we will try to pick up as many as we can. So we've got lots of questions coming in about individual sort of like application circumstances. I would encourage people to get in touch directly with the team at Edinburgh Napier if you want to talk specifically about your own circumstances, and about what qualifications and such you would need to go into nursing courses with us. But we do honestly get people from all walks of life and all different experience levels coming into nursing. I believe, Bruce, it's something like about 50% of our nursing students are considered mature students.
I mean, what I would say is there's a huge variety. I noticed somebody asked a question about coming from another profession. Can I build on previous experience? Absolutely. You can't forget what you already know, and we would build on that, But equally, what I'd say is it doesn't matter whether you're coming in straight from leaving school or you're coming in from having another career. Everybody supports and helps everybody in a different way. So I tend to find sometimes when we've got mature students come in, they come in with a lot of life experience and they're really very good at supporting some of the younger students, whereas the younger students tend to be really good with the technology, writing, some of those skills, and that you can bounce off and help each other.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up another question for us here. Are there any specific, there's just a question here from Jade about, is there any like particular courses people might be studying at college that you think would be a good jumping off point for going into studying nursing at university?
Well, what I would say is be careful. Don't study anything that you don't need to study if you don't need to do it. So what I would do is, and that's a very bespoke question in relation to qualifications. So what I would do is always go onto the website and contact our recruitment team to let us know what your qualifications are, and they will be very good at telling you, is there anything you need to top up on, and if so, they would recommend, is it an access to nursing or is it something else? So there is a lot of colleges you courses you can do at college to support you coming into nursing. What I would do is always check with somebody in admissions before you make that decision, because what you don't want to do is go to college for a year or do something part-time with college and find that doesn't support you to get in. So sorry, that's a very woolly answer, but I would say contact somebody just to check.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's always like the most important thing to get in touch with our team at the university and make sure that you have what you need before you start applying. So if we've got any other questions coming through, well, we're waiting for people to see if there's anything else that they want to ask us today.
Can I answer Nicole's question that's come in? What is your
yes, absolutely.
What is the best thing about being a nurse? I love that question. Do you know the best thing I love about being a nurse is the way you make, from day one as a student right through to where I am today, is the change you make to people's lives. Don't ever underestimate that when you're holding somebody's hand whilst they're being sick post-chemotherapy and they're scared and going through their cancer journey, to giving somebody that COVID vaccine that's really nervous about getting the vaccine and what that might mean. Don't ever underestimate the impact that you're having on people's lives and the job satisfaction that gives you. You know, I was working this weekend and looking after somebody that was critically ill in their home, and just, you know, whilst it was horrible to see that person so unwell, you know that you have left a footprint in that person's life. So it's, and to me, the best thing about being a nurse is every part of it. And it's that ability to influence people at that level. Or, you know, and that's what's always inspired me to keep going in my career. And that's why I'm classified as a mature student. I'm doing a research degree because I'm wanting to advance research and nursing knowledge. So to me, you're asking the wrong person. It's the best career in the world.
Megan, do you want to take that question as well?
Yeah, sure. There's countless best things about being a nurse. I think, as well as everything that Bruce has said about the patients, I think as well the bond that you have with your colleagues and also your peers at university, the pride that you can feel being in the teams that you are and working for what you're working for is second to none. I think as well, being able to go the extra mile for somebody is, you don't get that in very many professions, not in this way. And it's so important. And I think being able to do that is a real privilege, actually. And to be someone's advocate when they can't be their own, you know, all of these things. Someone said to me on my first placement, actually, in 3 years' time, when you're finishing, you'll be a completely different nurse than you are today. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, I don't know about that, but they were completely right. And I think that's one of the best things, is you can look back on your career studying or working and think, gosh, I've come so far, and the sense of achievement for what you've done is amazing.
Amazing. And we've had this question from Amber come through. Are there opportunities to specialise as you go through the course? So at Edinburgh Napier University, we do teach 4 specific nursing specialisms, in addition to also teaching midwifery. We did mention at the start that we still have applications open for adult nursing, for mental health nursing and learning disability nursing. And we do also teach child health nursing, though I believe applications for that have closed for the moment. But Bruce, would you maybe want to talk about what the differences are between the specialisms, and if there's any opportunity for people to swap if they change their minds once they're a bit further into the course?
That's a fantastic question that Amber's asked. So yeah, you're right. We've got the 4 fields. Once you join the course, it is not guaranteed, nor is it always possible to change fields. So I would call it fields. Sorry, so the different specialties. So I would suggest that you make sure you've picked the right one for you before you come into it, because there's no guarantee that you can change that once you've started the program. Somebody asked earlier, and it's a bit about how if you do adult nursing training, you will learn a little bit about mental health, learning disability, and a tiny bit of child health, because that's skills that you need to know to be a general nurse, because we are nursing people from 16 right through the lifespan. And, just because you're working in an A&E department doesn't mean that you also need to know about mental health and learning disability, because you'll be nursing all those patients. What I'd say is there's loads of opportunities to specialise once you finish your programme. So look at your adult nursing programme. I often say to students, look at it as not like an apprenticeship, but a beginning of a career. Because when you start nursing, you might have an idea where you want to work when you qualify, and that won't be where you end up. I was absolutely determined I would become a surgical nurse, and I actually ended up becoming a district nurse working in the community. So totally different career I ended up in. And then when I ended up in the community, I did a specialist qualification in public health to allow me to be a district nurse. So if you look at your adult nursing as just that open opportunity to endless career opportunities when you finish, and that there's lots of different specialties you can go into.
Fantastic. And just seen a new comment come in. Oh, people are saying thank you. It's very lovely to hear that you're leaving footprints in somebody's life. That's lovely. So yeah, again, people, oh, here we go. That's an excellent question there from Bethany. So how do you find it dealing with your own emotions as a nurse when you're supporting patients? Megan, I don't know if you want to start off with that one.
Yeah, I can do. I think pulling support from wherever you can is really important. As I've said before, developing relationships with your colleagues, being able to speak with them, especially as a student, you're going to experience things that you possibly haven't, experienced before. And I think relying on people like your mentor and things to speak about these things is really important, because it's also a learning experience. I think through showing compassion, you have emotion, as everyone does, but I think you can't be expected not to feel anything as a nurse if you're also expected to be compassionate. They kind of come hand in hand. And it makes you relate to people. It helps you to relate to your patients if you are emotional. Obviously, to a certain degree, you still need to show professionalism, but I think it is important to show people that you are a person as well, and you're there in their best interests.
Bruce?
Yeah, I would agree with everything Megan said. And remember that, this is the start of a journey, a learning journey, and there's lots of things that we learn as nurses to help us cope. So part of the programme and part of the course is you will learn about resilience, how to deal with your own emotion. It's very high on the agenda now. It never used to be, but about caring for self. So that's one of the modules that you would study if you come to us. So it's how can I care for others if I can't care for myself as a nurse? So there's a lot more about nurses' health and well-being. And I would say certainly, post-COVID or moving into post-COVID world, I think that's going to become really, really important. So I think there is a lot of things that you're dealing with that can be difficult. The first time somebody passes away, the first time you're involved in a cardiac arrest, they're not easy things, but you will find you get an awful lot of support, and you learn a lot about how to deal with these things as you go through.
Yeah.
And, Netflix, a box of tissues, and Ben and Jerry's also is very easy things you can do to support yourself.
Absolutely agree with you there. Sorry, I just coughed terribly in the middle of speaking there. So we have been chatting away for over half an hour now, and we've covered off quite a lot of topics. I hope that everyone watching has found that useful. The recording of this will be available on our social channels after. So if you maybe missed the start and missed something that we were talking about earlier, then please do feel free to watch it back later. Is there anything else that my fellow speakers here want to talk about before we start to round off?
I just want to add in, I can see still some questions about qualifications. And Eleanor, if you then decide to watch the recording, you will see Eleanor kind of touched on that. But just to add in as well, you will see that she mentioned to contact us, the student recruitment team. If you're not sure how to do that, you can even just drop us an email. It is just studentrecruitment@napier.ac.uk. And we would just recommend putting your qualifications in the body of that email so that we can either help yourselves or discuss that with the admissions team. If there's anything you're not sure of at all, just drop us a wee email, and you can also inquire on the course page on our Edinburgh Napier website about the course and pop your question there if you find that easier. But yeah, just to add that in. And while I'm speaking, thank you for joining us, everyone, today. So nice to see everyone on. But yeah, I'll pass back to you now, Eleanor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really would recommend anyone who's interested in applying to nursing at Edinburgh Napier University, do go onto our website, check out the undergraduate section. There's lots of information there about the application process, things about doing your personal statement, and you can get into all of our course pages, which will drill down into the detail of how the course structure works, and everything that you want to know about jumping into this amazing career that you are embarking on when you decide to study nursing. And that's also the best place to find out any details about events that we might be having for applicants, and keep an eye on our social channels for other things like this, where we do Q&As, and we're always happy to speak to people who are interested in applying to us. So I think that is everything. And so I'm just going to say thank you very much to everyone who has joined. Thank you to Tasha, Bruce, and Megan for giving up some of their time today. And please do, if you're watching the recording back, add comments in below, and we'll get back to you if we can about questions even after this has gone offline. And as Tasha said, you can use the email studentrecruitment@napier.ac.uk, or the contact form on our website, which is napier.ac.uk as well. Just always feel free to get in touch and ask anything. There's no such thing as silly questions. So thank you very much, and goodbye from me. If anyone else has anything they want to say to sign off.
I would just say I love this session. It always inspires me doing things like this. And I hope you all think now that you want to apply for nursing, and hopefully think to come to Napier. And if you do, I teach in the first year, so I would really look forward to meeting and working with you.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone, and we hope to see you soon.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.